Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Military Spouse to Millionaire. As you can see, I am not in my normal location, and that is because we have a house full of house guests, which I am immensely grateful for. We're having a great time with company while they're in town, but that does mean that the podcast recording gets moved to my bedroom. So bear with me, lighting, audio might not be as it normally is, but that's okay. I promise the content will still be worth tuning in for. So what we're going to talk about today, and I made a quick list because really this is just a vent session for me in terms of things that real estate agents do that give me the ick, because there are just some annoyances that I have, and maybe other agents can hop on here and give me some insight as to why some of us are doing these things, because I really can't wrap my mind around why some agents are wasting their time and my time doing these things. So let's get into it. Real estate agents that don't have the home appropriately marked in the MLS as owner occupied or vacant, you guys really consistently and on a regular basis throw a wrench in my showing days. And I can't be the only one who experiences this, but just to pull back the curtain a little bit, as a real estate agent, when I'm house hunting, if a home is vacant and we're running early or behind, it's a godsend because we can go into those homes early or late or, whatever, skip them entirely if that should happen. And because there's nobody there who lives there. So having a home, in my opinion, appropriately marked in the MLS as whether it's vacant or owner occupied is of immense importance, because it lets the showing agent know if there's wiggle room there so that we're not standing outside for 20 minutes with our clients making small talk, killing time, when we could have just gone in, seen the property, and been on to our other 11 showings that day. So please just mark it appropriately. If it was owner occupied when it went on the market and they've moved out, change the status. Accuracy matters. That is important. Another thing that really not just irritates me, but kind of gives my clients the ick is when I'm a buyer's agent and we're out house hunting and an agent insists on meeting us at a property, especially if it's a vacant property. I don't get this. I do not understand why another real estate agent needs to take the time to come meet me, a licensed real estate agent, and my clients at a property, but even more so a vacant property. If the home is still owner occupied, I know some people are old school, some agents are old school, some clients are old school, and they might request that you be there as the listing agent to highlight all of the wonderful things about this home. Number one, that can very easily be done on the MLS via a text message to me before I show the house. If you want to call me and give me the scoop, that could very easily be done. I don't necessarily need you there hovering over me and my buyers while we're looking around this house. And quite frankly, and more importantly, the buyer feedback, and that's really why this one made the list. The buyer feedback that I get from this experience is that it gives them the ick. They're like, why was that other agent there? Like, why were they following us around the house? Why wasn't this one on lockbox like all of the other ones that we've seen? And it's kind of a difficult thing to explain. And it comes down to like, well, some agents have the practice of doing it and they just want to be there to do all the things, or a seller might ask for them to do it. I've had sellers in the past ask me to do it. And just to be very clear, if a seller asks me to do it, absolutely I will do it. But my response when a seller asks me, hey, are you going to be here for all of the showings, is no, I'm not going to be here for all of the showings, because if I have a scheduling conflict and that stops a showing from happening, that's one less person coming to see your home because I have an appointment. I have an eye doctor appointment, or I'm going to be out of town, or I'm going to be showing houses, or I'm going to be doing whatever. My schedule availability should not dictate how many people get their feet through the door of your property. Not to mention, anybody who comes to see your home is coming with a licensed real estate professional. They are coming with a licensed agent who is representing them. If there's any information about your home that's worth highlighting, number one, it's in the MLS because that's where people go to find out details about properties, or I can shoot them a detailed text or give them a phone call educating them on any specifics that we deem important about the listing. But no, generally, I'm not going to be there hovering over an agent and their clients because it makes people uncomfortable. They don't feel like they can talk freely. They don't feel like they can give feedback. They don't feel like they can really be in the home because there's this other person there kind of just loitering around. So I get it if the home's being lived in and the seller is like, I want you to be here to watch my stuff. I can sort of get my mind around that. And if that's the case, I will tell my clients that, like, the seller's stuff is all in there and we're all relative strangers. But if the home is vacant, guys, come on. Is that really the top-notch activity that we think is going to make or break getting an offer for our sellers? Being there at a vacant home when someone else, another licensed agent, is showing it? I think we need to think about that one. This one is my number one. I'm not doing these in any particular order. This one is my number one. Ickety ick pet peeve. If I could make this stop happening, I would pay so much money to make this stop happening. Reverse prospecting. If you don't know what reverse prospecting is, in a nutshell, it's when agents call other agents to say, hi, Agent Smith, this is Agent Lee, and I see in the MLS that you have a client or two that have favorited my listing in the MLS. Do you want their reference number? This is absolutely bullshit fluff that we as listing agents are telling our clients that we're doing to try to bolster the appearance of due diligence. Like, I'm going to call every single person who favorites your hearts your property in the MLS. Never once has an agent called me with this type of phone call and I've said, great, I've been waiting for this phone call so I could tell you that we're interested. Get the fuck out of here. If someone is interested in your home, they are going to have contacted me with a screenshot, with an address, with questions. I'll reach out to you. I am not waiting for some reverse prospecting phone call to be like, yes, I'm so glad you called. I've been waiting for this to tell you we're interested and we're going to buy the house. No, people, that is not how that works. And I might have a little bit higher level of irritation about this because of the volume that I do. And I don't mean that to sound braggadocious or snotty, but the reality is at any given time, I have 50 or 60 or 70 people in my MLS, and they're liking the same maybe 15 or 20 houses. So sometimes agents call me and they're like, 5 of your clients liked my property, my listing on the MLS. Do you want their reference number? Number one, I'm not going to have their reference number memorized because that's some obscure MLS bullshit number that I would have to go to my computer, type in their reference number to see who it pulls up. And 9 times out of 10 clients that I'm working with aren't even on island yet because I start talking to people months and months before they get here. So your home could just be one that they heart or favorite as a potential that they want me to see for overall style and price point. It doesn't mean that they're actively interested specifically in your home, but it's just absurd to me that I feel that we as agents are selling this to sellers as like this great thing we're doing as some sort of real genuine effort to get their properties sold, when that is not it. In my opinion, that is not going to be the thing that makes or breaks getting an offer for a property. You want to talk about doing things for sellers to get their home sold? Let's talk about high quality, professional photography, videography, a strong online social media presence to get more potential eyes on that property in a way that's beyond just the MLS and listing their home on the MLS. Let's talk about paying to boost social media posts and social media content to get it even to a wider audience than just your normal audience. Like, those are real, genuine things that you could be doing for sellers that are actually going to get engagement, to get real interest, versus somebody just doom scrolling in the middle of the night and hearting 75 properties on the MLS when they're not going to be here for 4 more months. So I just think there's other things as agents that we could do that are a little higher value. And honestly, it is a waste of my time. I sometimes get 6 or 7 reverse prospecting calls in a week, and they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so from this brokerage, and here's the reference number, and are they interested? Do you have any questions? What do they think of the home? And it's just hands down a waste of time. And respectfully, what I tell people is, if you want to email me with their reference number, I'm happy to look it up, but here's the situation. They might not be here for months, and I have tons of people house hunting, and if there's genuine interest, if someone sends me a screenshot or asks me a question specifically about your property, I will be in touch. That is a genuine level of interest. Them hearting something on the MLS, not it, in my opinion. This next one sort of falls under the overall category of attention to detail, and that is buyer's agents not reading the notes that my team and I painstakingly take the time to put in the agent remarks in the MLS. And what I mean by that is, there are certain things that I convey to other agents in the agent remarks that you public, like consumer-facing people, can't see. Things like check supplementals for electricity bill, contact my co-lister with any questions, use this preferred person as, an escrow officer at seller's request. Yes, technically picking the escrow officer is the buyer's purview, like the buyer gets to pick the escrow officer, but sellers will always request or ask for an escrow officer of their preference. You don't have to use them, but that kind of information is in the agent remarks. Yet, I am still getting phone calls. Hey, what's the average electric bill? Hey, Kendra, I know I'm supposed to call your co-lister, but I'm calling you because I didn't read the agent remarks. There is valuable information that we go out of our way to put in the MLS to make things easier, to make communication smoother, to just overall have a better process. Just read the agent remarks. Read the agent remarks and do what they're asking you to do. Sometimes there are supplementals like information on the leased or owned solar panels or the seller's disclosure or various other things that you're calling me to ask a question about when you should be calling my co-lister, and the information is already there in the MLS for you because we try to have a high level of preparedness when we're listing a home. Sticking with the paying attention to detail theme, agents who are not on their timelines, especially when it comes to things like the final walkthrough, getting us receipts for any home inspection requests that should have been done prior to the final walkthrough so we can have them for our records to give to our buyers to ensure like everything's been done, and staging. You do not know how many times I've gone to a final walkthrough and we've walked into the property and it's still fully staged, and my clients for a second are like, oh my God, does it come with all this stuff? That's amazing. It looks so good. And then I have to tell them, no, it should have all been removed because we're doing the final walkthrough, and the home should be vacant, professionally cleaned, ready to go in the condition that you're going to be receiving it. But there's still all this staging stuff here. Even though my team has been in touch with the listing agent who knew we were doing this today and didn't coordinate properly with the staging company to have their shit removed. It's just irresponsible. It's just a waste of time, because then some of my clients are like, well, there's all this furniture in here. We want to come back later when it's empty to make sure like nothing's being hidden, everything's good. So then I have to coordinate a separate day and time to come back once the staging is removed. So again, it comes down to just organization, following the timelines, being respectful of other people's time, but doing your job. Like, it's not that hard, and you don't need to wait until the last minute to get the staging stuff removed. I know some people are like, I'm waiting until there's final loan approval to have the staging stuff removed. But by the time we get final loan approval, the final walkthrough is normally like a day or two after that. So if you're going to play that game, you need to be on your shit. You need to like get that final loan approval and immediately contact the staging company, because sometimes they're booked out for a few days and they can't get there. So just let's do a little bit better as agents, just maybe communicating with each other to get a warm and fuzzy about the transaction and feeling comfortable removing the staging stuff a little earlier than the final loan approval. If you're going to wait until final loan approval, you just really got to be on it and request that right away. But the home not being ready for the final walkthrough really is a big deal, because buyers are seeing that home again kind of for the last time before it's officially theirs. And it's a big moment. They're going to sign their loan documents after that. And it's just unfortunate when it doesn't go well due to errors that are very, very easily avoided. And I think it just doesn't make us look good as a profession to not be organized. And that's true of all of these things. Like, these are all things that kind of get under my skin, because I respect the profession of real estate, being a realtor, being someone who is helping another individual through the biggest transaction of their life, whether I'm on the buyer side or the seller side. I am helping people through the biggest transactions of their lives, and to not have the utmost degree of respect for that and care for that and attention to detail with all of those things, just I find unacceptable. And I think that we could do better, myself included, I'm sure, with things. One of the last things that I will vent about is not having professional photography done. I think that this is a huge disservice. If you have pictures that you as a realtor took on your 12-year-old iPhone, and I can like see you in the mirror of the bathroom taking the photo. I wish that was a fictitious exaggeration, but you could go on the MLS right now and see photos like that, like I'm talking about. Do we really think that those types of photos are going to be the quality of work and representation to get a client's home sold for the highest and best possible price? And I understand that sometimes clients don't want to spend the money. Photography is very expensive. Me as an agent, and this is just a me specific thing, I know other agents might do it, but I can't speak for agents as a whole. So me as an agent, I pay personally between $700 and $900 a listing to have professional real estate photography and videography done for every single one of my listings, because it is that much of a non-negotiable. We will have amazing content, amazing pictures, amazing video work, because that is huge. Everyone shops online, and it gives me also content for, going back to my previous statement, for my social media platforms, good enough content that I can boost it, that I can promote it heavily, that it's going to really be a good, solid representation of a home. And so I think, I don't expect other agents to be like, yeah, I'm going to start paying for all of my seller stuff, because I don't think that's a typical agent thing. That's something that I do that I believe sets me apart and is above and beyond. But if a seller has trepidation or is giving you pushback on listing photos, find somewhere else to cut corners. Like, literally don't make that the thing. And if you are going to make that the thing, do it as well as it can be done by someone who's not a professional. You taking, fishbowl photos of a really tiny room, sure, might get more people through the door because they think the room is huge. But when they see that it's really a 5x7 room, they're not going to be offering. They're going to be irritated because they were catfished. So if you're a potential seller out there, please don't underestimate the power of good social media content and videography and photography. Yes, it costs money. I think I have 13 active listings right now at round up, $1,000-ish a pop. That is a substantial investment that I am making in my clients. It's an investment that you as a seller might need to make sure that your home is selling for the highest and best price point that you can get for it. If you have tight margins, I get it. But again, find somewhere else to cut corners. That's not really the place that I would personally cut corners. I think that just about wraps up my tangent. I could probably really get in the weeds and nitpick about other things like agents telling me in 2025 to make sure that I leave a card at a showing, which is absolutely preposterous because literally most showings are done electronically via the showing time app, which means you have an electronic record of me and my showing and my contact information. So why do you need a business card? Or, some agents are still a little old school and they want me to email them or text them with showing requests, which fine. I have a digital business card with my contact information and my, RS number and all of that I send to you. Again, why do I need to leave a card? Seems unnecessary. Business cards aren't cheap, but I think they're also kind of like a dying thing. So no, probably I'm not going to leave a card on the counter. We don't need to gaslight other agents coming to see the property, having 25 business cards on the counter so that other sellers are like, oh my God, so many people have seen this place. We better offer. The jig is up there. Like people know what that's about. So I think that's kind of one that I find a little ick. But those are the main ones. Maybe I'll do a part 2 if I think of anything. But if you're an agent and you watch this and I missed something and it gives you the ick, feel free. This is a safe space. Feel free to vent. These aren't things that really affect consumers too much, but I'm always down for the occasional episode that just really pulls the curtain back and discusses, behind the scenes stuff and things that I observe as an agent. So hopefully you found this at least entertaining. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I wouldn't have any of this if it weren't for all of you. Bye, guys.